All right, guys, my lovelies, my babies, my children. Oh, I should have used the B word. You're not babies, clearly. Anyway, this is your video with your test review, work, and answers. So let's jump right in and look at our question on the on balancing a checkbook. Okay, so Alice Cool has a checking account with Citizens Bank. Her current balance June 1 was $1,017.20. For the month of June, the following information was recorded in her check register. What is the ending checkbook balance on June 30th? Couple of quick tips. Well, let's do the math first. We'll do the quick tips after. So we are either adding or subtracting. We're subtracting this one because she spent money, because it's a check. You can see that here. She wrote a check to Amazon.com. Who writes a check to Amazon? Well, maybe it wasn't really a check. I guess it was a check. I don't know. Dell Computer, she wrote a check to them. She deposited a paycheck, probably. That's $800 and some. She paid Sprint. She paid Krispy Kreme. Whoa. She paid Krispy Kreme $217. Okay, let's just go with it. And then she deposited $198.10. So there's what we're doing. So there's my initial work is going to be writing that out. And now I'm going to go ahead and subtract. I'm not going to write the work out without using a calculator. You can go ahead and use a calculator. If you don't want to use one, just remember, if you're making a whole bunch of mistakes, it would probably be better if you go ahead and use a calculator. So I'm subtracting all of these values. So I'm going to subtract 81.96, and that leaves me 935.24. I'm subtracting $33.10. I love it. She spent $33 with Dell Computer. She spent $217 with Krispy Kreme. This is one of those good examples of in a math problem. It's probably best if you don't ask a whole lot of questions. All right, now we're going to take that and add what is probably a paycheck, $800.40. So add $800.40. And now she's back to $1,702.54. She's doing really well here. She's doing real well. All right, now she's going to spend money on Sprint, which is probably a cell phone bill. So we're subtracting $110.22, leaving me $1,592.32. All right, and then how about Krispy Kreme? $217.55 minus $217.55, and that leaves me $1374.77. And then she deposits $198.10. That's a paycheck. It's pretty small compared to the other one. And that leaves me with $1,572.87. So that's my first go through. Now I'm going to go through and do it again. It's not necessary that I write it all the way out a second time. It's just necessary that I do the math twice. Because with the calculators that we use, I can't see exactly what I typed. And it is always possible that I have made a mistake. Now, it's also possible that I'm making a mistake while I talk and type at the same time. But in order not to make your video super duper long, I'm going to go ahead and keep on trucking. And once again, I got $1,572.87. So since I got that answer twice, I feel confident in my answer. Also write down what you're doing. As you can see here, I've written down what I actually did to get there. Okay? Balancing a checkbook, you can practice that further with your classwork. If you really need more problems, I can probably find you some. If you email me, I'll send you a link. That's going to be on our test, working with percents, decimals, and fractions. We've been reviewing this in warm-ups for a while. So we're going to order these all, not form. I hate it when I do that. From greatest to least. Greatest to least. The best strategy that I've found in my experience is to change everything to a decimal. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to change everything to a decimal. So in A, 15.3%, I'm going to write that as 0.153. No naked decimal points. 7/4. Well, that's 1 3/4, so 1.75. 1.87, already a decimal. And 324%. 324% changed to a decimal, 3.24. And we're ordering these from least to greatest, and that is indeed our least. So the first one in order is 324%. That's a pretty big percent. Think about what that actually means. 100% is a whole thing. So this is more than 3 times a whole thing. Almost 3 1/4, but not quite, because that would be 25 if it was 3 1/4. The next smallest value I have is the 1.87, which was already a decimal. The next smallest is the 1.75, which is actually the fraction, 7/4. And then finally, 15.3%, which is the only one smaller than 1 on that entire list. Notice all the work that went into writing that out. I do expect to see you writing work out for these problems, folks. This is not I do it in my head. Okay, I changed them all to decimals, which required us writing out work. If you need review on any of that, you know where to find it, because you can look at your IXL skills listed at the top, J1 and 2. The skills within J will probably also include other things besides J1 and J2. You probably look at some of the other ones as well. All right, whoop, got to get the writing tool to write, LeCompte, come on. All right, 0.88, 86%, 8/9, 8.5. So let's write them out. Again, first one's already a decimal, so I'm good there. 86%. 86% is a decimal, 0.86. Because I divide by 100 to go from percent to decimal. Someone asked today, how do you do that? And a really good way to remember, if you can't remember, because I'm not going to tell you during a test or during a benchmark, I could actually lose my job, is to go ahead and write down a familiar percent and decimal that you know are equal, and then think about, what do I do to this number to get this number? Well, in this case, I would multiply by 100. Multiply by 100. Multiply by 100, you got it, 50. Okay? All right. Next one is 8/9. 8 divided by 9, and again, I can use a calculator at this point, is 0.8 repeating. So I'm not going to write 0.8 repeating with the bar notation. I'm going to write this because I'm going to need to be able to compare my decimals. And then 8.5. Well, 8.5 is clearly the biggest. It's the only one bigger than 1. So 8.5 is going to go first in my answer. All right, then I want the next largest, which is the 0.88888, because look, line them up. 0.88. This is clearly bigger than this because it has more values past that decimal point. We could put a 0 here and then they would match in size in terms of decimal places, but the one with the 8 is bigger. The one with nothing there, which indicates that 0 there, is smaller. So 8/9 is going to go next. And then 8/8 is bigger than 8/6, so 8/8, 0.88. And finally, 86%. Okay, next one. 1/4, 260%, 0.26, and 2/9. 1/4 is 0.25. You probably already knew that one, but you could use your calculator to find out. 260%, again, percent to decimal is divide by 100, so that's 2.6. Okay, this is supposed to be a decimal point right here, down here, but it's kind of all messed up. See right there? It's supposed to be a decimal point. I'm sorry. 0.26 is already a decimal, and then 2/9 is 0.2 repeating. All right, again, putting them in order. Biggest one is the 260%. It's the only one other one bigger than 1. It's the only value bigger than 1 on the whole list. All right, the next one down would be the 0.26, because 6 is bigger than 5. This 6 right here is bigger than this 5. So this number is bigger than 1/4. And 1/4 would be next. And again, 2/9, 0.2 repeating, would be last. Practice with your fractions, decimals, percents. IXL skill set J. It was over, folks, and these won't take us long at all. So we've been working quite a bit on evaluating expressions. I want to see you doing these problems the way that we talked about in class. That means using those parentheses. So when we start to evaluate A, I see that it's A squared. I'm going to put my parentheses, squared, and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to drop in my A value, which is -9. And -9 squared is positive 81. Okay, how about B? Negative C squared. So several kids asked me about this today. It's always good to ask that question in class, like, I don't quite understand. Just where the C is, that's where the parentheses go. Just where the C is, that's where the parentheses go. Now drop your C value in. Negative 2 squared is positive 4. Tack the negative on out front, negative 4. Okay. A, B, C, so multiply, 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 plus 3 times C minus 2 times A. Drop in my A and my B and my C. -9, 5, -2. Over here, C, -2. And finally, A over here, -9. Multiply. -9 times 5 is -45, times -2 is +90. plus negative 6 when I multiply 3 times negative 2 minus negative 18. Well, what I want you to start seeing is that right here, I could have just put plus, because I know a negative 2 or a minus 2 times a negative 9 is going to turn out positive right there. So I have 90 plus negative 6 plus 18. 90 and negative 6 is 84 plus 18. 84 and 10 is 94 plus 8 would be 102. Let's see. 84 plus 20 will be 104 minus 2 to get back to 18, that's 102. And that's the kind of math I do in my head to figure things out quicker. How about D? A plus B plus C, the quantity squared. Drop them in. Negative 9, positive 5, negative 2. Add them together. Negative 9 and 5 is negative 4, and negative 2 is negative 6. Inside the parentheses still, squared, 36. Find more of those up here with T4, T5. Look, F17 is the one that has exponents. F17 has exponents. If you know that's one of the places that you struggle, for my folks that have been getting hundreds, but you know that's one place you struggle, that'd be a great thing to study tonight. Finally, translating expressions. Our newest topic we've been covering. You guys have done an awesome job with this. Just taking a look at those cards, you did a really good job writing those expressions. So A is 4 less than 3 times a number. As soon as I read 4 less than, I write minus 4 with a space sitting in front of it. 4 less than what? 4 less than 3 times some number. And this is going to be the struggle, is to get used to and remember that you don't need the time sign. Just 3 and n stuck together. Next one. 16 more than a number is 4. Is 4. Is my equal sign. 16 more than a number is 4. N plus 16, you could also have 16 plus n equals 4. Doesn't matter. Twice the sum. So I hear twice the sum. It's 2 times something in parentheses. The sum of what? A number and 8. The sum of a number and 8. Last one. 11 is equal to the quotient of a number and 6 added to the product of a number and 3. What? Slow down. Take it slow. 11 is equal to 11 equals the quotient of a number and 6. The quotient of a number and 6. No division signs. Use the fraction bar, please. Added to, plus sign, the product of the number and 3. So it says the number because it's just indicating it's the same number, so you can use the same variable. The product of the number and 3. That's multiplication. We don't put n3. No, no, no. Don't do that. It's 3n. And again, IXL, T1, T2. These are the 4 basic skill sets you're going to see on this test tomorrow. You do your best to study, bring your questions into class, and I'll see you tomorrow.